Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sunday Live, the Week 13 edition, your one-stop shop for all those searching for that bardic inspiration of the morning. Got a special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. Look, Judge Giamatti, he's so rich, and he's getting demanding around here. But we got Owl Borland filling in on the ones and the twos. Owl.
What's up, best friend?
Oh, man, that's right. Have you ever been my best friend?
Not since before the footballers existed, no.
Owl is my best friend today. Welcome in. Your once a week Tilt Fest. We got all your news. We got all your notes. We'll look at some start-sit decisions. But thank you for joining me, Mike, the Fantasy Hitman from the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Thank you for joining me. I know there's a lot of places you could be right now, and you choose to be right here, right now, Week 13. So let's get into it.
The big picture.
All righty. I got the news right here. Big stuff. Arizona Cardinals fans. I mean, I'm not, talking to anyone in particular. But Kyler Murray, he's back, baby. Fantasy quarterbacks, I should say your fantasy quarterback, he is back, looking to tear it up down the stretch. He is back. He is in. Unfortunately, we do have a couple outs here. Daniel Jones is out. That was a pretty wild ride that we had there. He was not expected to play. Then maybe he was okay. And then it was, now his injury, at least it's not season ending. So he has a neck situation going on. So his backup, the neck, Mike Glennon, will be taking the start for the New York Giants. Justin Fields will be out yet again. Andy Dalton will be making a start against the Arizona Cardinals, which could be a little bit of rain there. And then the bigger news, Jalen Hurts. It was slowly starting to trend the direction that he was not going to play, and now it has landed. He will not play. That means it's Gardner Minshew time, and I don't think there's a person out there rooting against Gardner Minshew at this moment. Even the opposite team, they're going to be rooting for Gardner Minshew. Everybody wants him to succeed. So he is interesting. He is interesting as a streaming option this week. We'll see what the questions shake out to be. At the running back position, Boston Scott is going to be in, and Jordan Howard is out for the Philadelphia Eagles. This is interesting where Miles Sanders got banged up last week, and then he was going to be the one who was out, and then all of a sudden he's practicing in full, but Boston Scott and Jordan Howard are the ones who are not playing. Boston Scott will be powering through an illness, I believe. He makes an interesting spot start if you are really desperate at the running back position, which a lot of us are right now. Clyde is expected to play for the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Jacobs is expected to play. He had some limited practices coming into this weekend. He is expected to play for the Raiders. Now this one, all I can do is give you the news because I don't have a total read on what this situation is. James Robinson, Jacksonville Jaguars, their running back superstar. He is questionable because he was missing some time during the practice week. I think it was the heel flared up again. And the quote is, he plans to try and play. That and he's an afternoon game. This is brutal. This is like the worst fantasy football situation of the weekend. What do you do with James Robinson? My advice to you, if you have Robinson and you're in any sort of regular format, Carlos Hyde should be on your waiver wire. You should be able to just go pick him up just in case. Just in case James Robinson is inactive, then at least you have someone you can fill in the afternoon. If Robinson plays, you just got to hope that the adrenaline kicks in and that James Robinson plays through it, and he just is that dude for the Jacksonville Jaguars yet again. Another murky situation, Darrell Henderson. We reported, if you listen to the Fantasy Footballers podcast, we were talking A report from our injury guy, our injury expert, Matthew Betts, certified PT out there. He's doing work, getting people better. But his assessment of the Darrell Henderson injury was that quad injury, that's something that usually takes at least a week to recover from. So he was saying, be pretty shocked if Darrell Henderson plays. Then right away, Coach McVay was saying, well, Henderson's not practicing, but we expect him to play. The next day, well, he's not practicing, but we expect him to play. The Rams are not optimistic that Darrell Henderson is going to play. Sony Michel becomes a very spectacular play because he will get all the work. He is a Al Borland. How would you grade out Sony Michel on the good? Is he good? Is he average? Is he bad?
He's terrible. He makes me want to vomit.
I'm not really sure when this vendetta against Sony Michel happened. Did he personally harm you on your fantasy team? Is that what happened?
No, I just don't like him.
So around the office, Al Borland just loathes Sony Michel for whatever reason. But I think even Al can admit that he would be a fine fantasy football start if Darrell Henderson is in fact out, which it's trending that way. Adrian Peterson. The Seahawks really liked what they saw when he was on the Tennessee Titans. The Titans did not, because they saw it for a handful of games and they said, sir, you need to leave this team. You cannot be on the Tennessee Titans. Yes, we understand we desperately need running back help. But you, sir, you need to leave this team immediately. And Pete Carroll said, ooh, that's the guy. That's the guy that's going to take my running back room over the top. And now he's expected to start for your Seattle Seahawks. Good luck with that one. Brandon Bolden is questionable for tomorrow. It's a little bit of a pickle if you were going to count on Ramondre Stevenson. I think if you were counting on him, you play him either way, but he would get an uptick in passing work if Brandon Bolden misses. Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift officially out. Melvin Gordon, that was a wild ride. He is officially out for the Denver Broncos. Javonte Williams' season. Javante's Inferno will be fired up. It'll be hot. We're all very excited for Javonte Williams. He's not sneaking up on anybody. J.D. McKissick is out. Antonio Gibson, workload way up. Wendell Smallwood, if you're still throwing together a DFS lineup, Wendell Smallwood appears to be the guy that will take some of those J.D. McKissick snaps. How many? That I can't really tell you because I'm not plugged in with the Washington football team. David Johnson is out for the Houston Texans. The laugh was not at David Johnson. That laugh was that Rex Burkhead is back and fantasy relevant. Week 13 of 2021. Here we are. Trey Sermon is out for the 49ers. He was placed on injured reserve. So Elijah Mitchell, he's the dude. Jeff Wilson will be the backup. At the wide receiver position, D-Hop. DeAndre Hopkins is back, ladies and gentlemen, to go with Kyler Murray. Chef's kiss for that one. That's going to be delightful. Brandon Cooks will play. Devontae Parker for the Miami Dolphins. He is going to play. What does this do to the Miami Dolphins passing attack? What does this do to the distribution of the targets? It will be interesting to see. I'm only playing Parker if I'm in if my back is up against the wall and my pockets are emptied. I have nothing to protect myself from my fantasy football opponent. Maybe then I'll put Devontae Parker in. The bigger question to me is Jalen Waddle, who has been a breakout superstar at the wide receiver position, one of the best rookies. Does his target volume stay the same, or does Devontae Parker come in and siphon too much away that Waddle no longer produces? Because Waddle has been getting it done on volume. The big plays they finally hit last week, but if he loses some volume, you're going to need more of those big plays on a regular basis. Corey Davis is in for the Jets. Hooray. Odell Beckham is expected to play. He's a fine play if he goes for the Rams. Van Jefferson, I think, is still in regardless of Odell Beckham being active or inactive, but obviously Van Jefferson gets a bump if Odell Beckham is to miss. Debo is out. We knew that was going to happen. For the Giants, Kadarius Toney and Sterling Shepard will be out. It's Mike Glennon. If you're thinking, okay, these wideouts are out, I'm going to go grab Slayton or somebody or Galladay, I would recommend you don't do that because I'm not going to do that. Allen Robinson will miss yet again for the Chicago Bears. Logan Thomas will play for Washington. Darren Waller is out, which means the island of Foster Moreau is in. Al Borland, are you ready for your time to shine, my friend?
Oh, yeah.
That was very Brooksian.
I try.
He's so hot right now.
All right, if you're new to the segments, this is what we do, thefantasyfootballers.com. That is where the rankings live. They're being updated all the way until kickoff. I will go and update them some more after this fine live stream that I'm providing for the Foot Clan. But we have a start-sit tool over there. You can plug in player X, player Y. The computer will run its stuff, and it will let you know based on our projections who we would start in a fantasy football competition. We track those because some players just have more questions about them than others, and then we talk about them in this section. Al Borland, who's hot right now? Who's trending?
All right, so the first thing I got here is the two Williams, Jamal Williams and
yes.
Javonte Williams.
Okay.
And then depending on where you go there, I'll have some follow-ups.
Oh, so the people want to know which Jay Willie
Correct.
would I play? Okay, so
You got Jamal at
yes.
Minnesota and Javonte at Kansas City.
Yes, the matchup is definitely better for Jamal Williams, the OG Jay Willie, if you will. But oh my gosh, this is actually like this. It feels like this shouldn't be a difficult question. This feels like it's Javonte. His metrics are outstanding. He's breaking tackles all over the field. One of the best graded PFF runners. Yada yada yada. He's gonna be alone. He won't be fully alone. Mike Boone is there, and Mike Boone was one of the free agents that the Broncos targeted. Javonte's going to be the guy, but just saying, Mike Boone will play. But the matchup is there for Jamal Williams, and we know that Jared Goff has been checking the ball down so much. DeAndre Swift, like an outrageous amount of targets, and you saw some proof of concept week 1. I think Jamal Williams had like 8 receptions. Like they both had a monster game. I expect Jamal to be heavily targeted in the passing game. If I had them both, if I had them both, I would still play Javonte because of the juice, because of the tackle breaking ability. But both are divisional games. They're very, very close in my rankings, but I slightly lean Javonte Williams, but that is a very difficult question. Who's next?
And then would you start Javonte or Jamal over David Montgomery?
The answer to that is yes. David Montgomery has an already tough matchup with the Arizona Cardinals. Allen Robinson is out again, and it's just, the scoring opportunity. You got a little bit of weather. That's just one of the variables that I'll put into this projection. But I think that the scoring opportunities will be there more for Javonte Williams. I think Jamal Williams will get more opportunity in the passing game, even though David Montgomery is absorbing all of it for Chicago. I feel more confident in those guys, their workload, their opportunity, the matchups for the two Jay Willies than I do over David Montgomery. Who's next?
Okay, Jamal Williams or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Oh, brother. Okay, so on the other side of the ball for Javonte is Clyde Edwards. Then this was a Jamal question?
This was Jamal specific, yes.
I have Jamal Williams currently sitting one spot ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And it comes down to the passing work. Like I will be shocked if Jamal doesn't see at least 3 receptions. How handy are you at finding props? How, like, if you jump in the DK Sportsbook?
Yep.
If I'm very interested to see what they're setting the line at. Because, that could be something that I may have to address after the show. But I'm going to play Jamal. Just safer workload in the passing game. And he'll be the one that carries the load. He should see at least 12-plus attempts, 3-plus receptions, where, Clyde is proving himself as a runner, which is pretty wild that that's not how we thought of him coming into the NFL. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going to get it on the ground. Darrell Williams will still be involved in the passing game. Will the touchdowns go to Clyde? Not sure. Will they go to Jamal? Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I lean. I've got him slightly ahead of Clyde, and that's who I would play. So did we find that, or we just need to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right.
Sorry, I'm not as quick.
You're all right. Who else is trending?
We got a lot of questions regarding Darnell Mooney. So the first one, Mooney or Ayuk?
Okay. Oh, I wish Jason was here for this question. Brandon Ayuk gets to play the Seattle Seahawks. It is on the road, but no Deebo Samuel, and that has led to some magical moments already in Brandon Ayuk's short career. When Deebo was out, Brandon Ayuk has stepped up. Darnell Mooney has been awesome, and it's low-key awesome, where if you're not really plugged into fantasy or Mooney is not on your team, I don't think you realize how great he has been over the last month with Allen Robinson out. Andy Dalton hasn't slowed him down. I mean, like, Dalton, he's a little scared to go downfield where Justin Fields is not, and that's where Mooney really shines. I would play – I have Brandon Ayuk 2 spots ahead of Darnell Mooney currently, and I can't imagine that is going to change when I go and make my last update to the rankings. So I lean Brandon Ayuk by a thin margin, although I like them both. I know Jason's kind of afraid of playing Darnell Mooney this week. The matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, it's tough, but I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk. Who else we got?
How about Mooney, or are you going to stay inside city limits?
We built this city. Oh, come on.
Hey, it's a popular question on the fantasyfootballers.com.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's a very professional plug. It's Michael Pittman. We're playing the Houston Texans. Look, if somehow, some way, T.Y. Houston does it again to the point where Michael Pittman doesn't have himself a day, I mean, like, I don't even know what we do at that point. I mean, it's just the legend will just be so fully formed and concrete at that point that it will just be factual information. It will no longer be a fun goof, a fun gag that we talk about on fantasy shows, and not just us, but T.Y. Houston. It would be unbelievable. But it's the Houston Texans, and Michael Pittman is, in fact, the number one guy. Making the assumption that Jonathan Taylor doesn't get everything, that's a dangerous proposition. Jonathan Taylor is the type of man who can eat everything that the Indianapolis Colts could provide against the Houston Texans. But I'm still playing Michael Pittman as a top 12 guy with confidence. And Darnell Mooney he's a wide receiver 2 to me at this point.
Okay, last ones real quick. Mooney or Renfro or T. Higgins? Rank those 3.
Okay, I would take – I'm going to take the cheap out. Scoring format definitely matters here for Hunter Renfrow, but Renfrow is playing the Washington football team. They give up tons of points to the quarterback. That's why Derek Carr was my start. They give up tons of points to the wide receiver position as well. So Renfrow is absolutely the safest play. So I would go, depending on what my team needed, Renfrow or Mooney. Higgins is at the back for me. I know that he had the monster game, this past week. The Chargers are a very tough defense to pass on, and Higgins hit because Jamar Chase didn't. Jamar Chase has not hit for a while, 3 or 4 weeks or so in a row. But that can't keep happening, right? Jamar Chase won't keep missing, and Higgins won't keep hitting while Jamar misses. Hopefully that makes sense. So that he's fine as like a lower end wide receiver 2 to me, but the other guys will both be playing ahead.
Cool.
Are we going to the people?
Let's move over to the tight end position real quick because we get a lot of tight end questions coming in.
Let's go.
I'm seeing Pat Freiermuth a lot. So,
yes.
Freiermuth or Hawkinson?
People want TJ Hawkinson, man. We're getting Luth, right? This show is contractually obligated to get Luth. once a week. And not just that, like against Baltimore, I think the Steelers are going to be okay to this week. Jason had Chase Claypool as his start of the week, and I think that you're able to throw in Baltimore. I think a scoring opportunity will be there. Hawkinson has just been, he's like, where Freiermuth is already looked to by Big Ben as someone, a go-to target in the end zone, but in the red zone. Like, we go to the Muth because, I mean, he's large and he's Luth, and he's the Muth.
All right, so would you start any of these guys over Pat Freiermuth?
Okay.
Logan Thomas, Dawson Knox, or Foster Moreau?
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm freaked out by the weather on Monday of the Bills and the Patriots game. It's going to be we're talking winds sustained at 20, rain, gross. Now, we have all reacted to weather one way or the other, and definitely been wrong, like where it seems like weather is going to be really extreme and shut this game down, and that doesn't actually happen, and then there's a lot of points scored. But with those other options, I would sit Dawson Knox. Moreau is interesting to me against Washington as the fill-in for Darren Waller. I think Freiermuth just has the better opportunity at a touchdown, so I lean going with Freiermuth slightly over those guys.
Okay, last question, and I'll let you go to the people.
All right.
Foster Moreau or Kyle Pitts?
Oh, that's okay. Kyle Pitts is playing Tampa Bay. Look, my rankings say Kyle Pitts, but I would not. I would not play Kyle Pitts against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kyle Pitts, man, that is he has been destructive, actively destructive to your roster because he's so good. What he is capable of doing, like Moreau's not dropping 120 and a touchdown against Washington. That's not happening. Kyle Pitts could do that. He's done it twice this year, but it's been a long time since he's done that, and he has done nothing essentially since Calvin Ridley has taken his leave of absence. I'm terrified to play Kyle Pitts against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that Foster Moreau is a safer option. If you are a heavy underdog, then play Kyle Pitts and hope that you finally get a week where he just goes off, and Monday we're all celebrating how great Kyle Pitts is. But Foster Moreau is a much safer play to me to give you 40 to 50 yards with the opportunity of a touchdown. Oh, that feels so bad.
It was hard to ask.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. I wish Kyle Pitts were producing more. Let's go to the people.
Stardom, set 'em.
All right, that was a whole lot up front with the news, but we'll get to as many questions as we can. Of course, I want to thank today's sponsor, pristineauction.com. Best memorabilia site online. Use the code BALLERS when you sign up, because you'll get a $10 credit to your first auction victory, and tons of cool stuff there each and every day. Hundreds of new things each and every day. All right, I will try to go fast so we can get to a lot. Brody wants to know Miles Sanders or Darnell Mooney. I would play Miles Sanders. He gets the New York Jets, and running backs just absolutely feast upon the New York Jets. Brian wants to know Manny Sanders or Jacoby Myers. Oh, no. Same game? Oh, no. I guess you go with Jacoby. Shorter passes are going to be easier to complete in that matchup. Oh, man. Pizza-flavored Oreos. Oh. No. Miles Sanders or Michael Pittman in a full-point PPR. Man. Full-point PPR makes that extremely difficult. You have Gardner, so you at least have that variable of the backup quarterback against the Jets. Because of the full point, I would go with Michael Pittman. That takes me over the top. Padillac wants to know Ertz or Logan Thomas in a 12-point in a half-point scoring format. I would go with Logan Thomas. Personally, we still haven't fully realized what Ertz will do with Kyler in there, and a full-strength Arizona offense. Will the defense be so focused on the other guys that Ertz is open in the middle of the field again? That could happen. Next question, Carl. Oh, yeah. Latavius Murray or Matt Breida. Ooh, that's disgusting. I would go with Breida. I know I've said I want nothing to do with that game, but I want nothing to do with Latavius Murray more so than that game. Albert, is Devontae Parker a safe flex play? Safe? No. A flex play? Yes. Again, I've kind of gave my analogy for him. Brady or Josh Allen? I would start Tom Brady. The matchup is fantastic against the Atlanta Falcons. And Josh Allen, look, the matchup against the Patriots, already bad. Throw in the other stuff, even worse. Lloyd Bonafide wants to know Mike's trim beard or the big fuzzy beard. I guess I voted for the trim beard because I brought it in, and that was my choice to do so. So that's where we are. Jonathan, Dallas Goedert or Foster Moreau in a PPR. Man, I think Moreau is actually the way to go. Call 877-1900. I know you were thinking it back there.
I was. I'm glad you said it.
Let's see here. Austin wants to know, streaming a quarterback, Gardner Minshew or Taylor Heineke. I would play. Man, I'm so fascinated. I'm so curious. What does Minshew do? Like, this is important for Gardner Minshew's future, that he goes out there and he wins and he balls out. Does he run more? Because he's like, he has to sacrifice everything to win this game if he wants to stay in the NFL.
Did you get to see him come into the stadium today?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's always looking like that.
He's like a full marriage between Goose and Maverick.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew is awesome. He's such a lovable guy.
I bumped him up in my non-existent rankings.
And I don't blame you. When you come in with that type of drip, then you know you're about to have yourself a game. Heineke is definitely the safer play, though. Oh, we're up against the clock. Craig wants to know Barkley or Sony Michel. We don't have the full Henderson is out, but I would want to play Sony Michel if he is the one who is in fact alone. A good fella, Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. I would play Lamar Jackson, even though he broke my heart last week. And then last one here, Andre wants to know Mooney or Boston Scott. That's where I'll go with Darnell Mooney. I feel just more confident in his workload. Boston Scott will touch the ball. I have a league or two where Boston Scott will be played as a running back too, because it's week 13 and fantasy football, it'll get you sometime. That's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me for Sunday Live. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish your opponents nothing but the worst. We will see you tomorrow on the podcast. And remember, stay safe and keep it beautiful. Mwah! Goodbye.